Well, now a look at that vaccine challenge that we were just speaking about, and the challenge in India, even as we're awaiting one of the many vaccines that's currently being tested to work. Recently, Adar Poonawalla, the CEO of the Serum Institute of India, highlighted the challenges in vaccine production and distribution in the country when he tweeted asking if the government had 80,000 crore, which he says is going to be needed for inoculating everyone. Now, Prime Minister Modi also recently said in his virtual address to the United Nations General Assembly that India has as the largest vaccine producer in the world can help in bringing the world out of the coronavirus crisis with mass vaccine distribution once all the trials are completed successfully. Now, this has all drawn attention to these challenges that we'll be facing ahead when it comes to that vaccine distribution. So let's talk about vaccine development. Currently, India is hosting clinical trials for major vaccine contenders. Serum Institute of India, the world's largest vaccine manufacturer, is conducting trials for the vaccine developed by Oxford University. Drug maker Dr. Reddy's Laboratories has announced that it will distribute 100 million doses of Russia's Sputnik V COVID vaccine in India, but after conducting the final stage human trials and receiving the regulatory clearances. Now, if we talk about Indian manufacturers, Bharat Biotech International Limited is at the second phase human trial stage, while Zydus Cadila is in the process of receiving approvals for conducting third phase clinical trials of its vaccine. Well, to talk more about the challenges ahead, we're now joined by Dr. Rakesh Verma, Professor of Cardiology, Safdarjung Hospital and Principal Consultant in DGHS. Also, Professor Dr. Anita Ramesh Chandra, specialist in clinical trials and a principal investigator for more than 20 trials in India. First and foremost, Dr. Verma, I'd like to ask you, all this recent news has drawn attention to the fact that once we have the vaccine in place, the next big challenge is going to be, distributing that vaccine, who gets it first. These are the kind of questions that are being raised right now. So tell us, what is the government planning and, how is it going to ensure that those who need it the most are inoculated?
If you have been very pertinent in noticing the news in the recent past, you must have realized Honorable Health Minister as well as Honorable Prime Minister of the country has very categorically, in very simple and direct words, has said that Government of India shall ensure and assure everybody that those who require the vaccine first will get the vaccine first. So I think we should, all of us, those who are Indian citizens, must have faith in our government, must have faith in our Honorable Prime Minister and the Health Minister that this question is already in their knowledge and they are working on it. I got no reason to doubt.
Nobody's raising doubt, but for our viewers, if you can explain why it's so important, to have these sort of priorities in place, how our health workers are the ones who will need to be inoculated first. If you could just talk a bit about that.
Madam, since I'm not involved in that process, so that question is, I'm not involved in that process, but I can assure you, as far as I know, the government is fully aware of this question and is working out modalities to fulfill the needs of those who require first, those who require in the second line, or those who require in third line. So let's not ponder on that point as of now, but I can assure each and every citizen of this country that government is well aware of its responsibilities, its duties, and is compassionate for each and every citizen of this country. I can assure you.
Right, absolutely. But when it comes to the actual distribution of the vaccine, Professor Anita Ramesh, it's going to be challenging ahead. There's a whole system of how vaccines are transported, how they're stored. And this is something that will have to be looked into once we have that vaccine in place. And with our massive numbers, the need to inoculate everybody, these are things that will have to be looked into, isn't it?
Yes, thank you very much. So yeah, it's a very important topic. Is India ready, or are we ready to face the challenges once the vaccine has got its approval and ready for distribution? See, as of now, 6 million cases, out of which 4.3 million has got cured. But there is more to come. We just now heard mutation is there, more aggressive disease. So this is the only weapon with us to fight this pandemic. And now we are in the last stage of the scientific advancement to bring the vaccines to the country people. Now let's see what are the challenges. As we heard already, India is one of the largest producer of vaccine, and we hope at the end of this year or early next 2021 we'll be ready to have the vaccines with us. Now India, yes, huge population, 1.38 billion, and we are the largest manufacturers, and we have done very well in the previous as far as vaccines is concerned, not only in this, other things. So let's see what are the challenges. One is a huge population. We need to meet the 1.38 plus our Prime Minister has promised to distribute to the other world. So huge quantity needs to be manufactured. Next, start from Ladakh in the north as well as Kanyakumari in the south. There's a huge difference in climatic condition, and these vaccines are usually mRNA technology produced. They need extremely low temperatures to survive. Right. So if you don't maintain the cold chain, that is from the manufacturing unit to the storage to the transport, the vaccine gets bad, it gets deactivated and it will not work. So cold chain maintenance. So we have to get prepared so that from the production company, say in Pune or any other city, to the northeast to Kashmir and down to Kanyakumari, we should be ready to transport it safely. Next,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, another important thing. Do we vaccinate everybody in India as of now? Yeah, but in India, vaccination is mainly in the children. But whom do we vaccinate? We can't vaccinate at this point of time to all the citizens. We have to prioritize. So our area of prioritization is a very important step. We healthcare workers with the government need to sit together. Is the vulnerable sector. Those who are above the age of 60, 65, having diabetes, hypertension, lung disease, kidney disease, transplant recipient, cancer patient should get the priority. Also, people elderly, anybody above the age of 60 to 65 should have an access to the vaccine. And third is essential healthcare workers like us, where we are working every day, 12 hours. I don't remember I've taken one day off in the last pandemics. Every day I went to the hospital. So we are not only doctors, nurses, paramedical staffs, housekeeping, even those who sit in the administration, secretary, everybody, these are the high priority according to me. And I think all of you will also agree needs to be vaccinated before the rest of the population gets vaccinated.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Anita Ramesh Chandra and Dr. Rakesh Verma for joining us on this very important issue. And it's something we're going to be discussing more and more in the days to come. Once we have that vaccine in place, then the challenge to actually distribute it and inoculate our population.